and my wolf pack, it grew by one. So where there were two of us in the wolf pack. I was alone first in the pack, and then.
Super Bowl edition. It's Friday. Super Bowl's in 2 days. Let's get this thing going. What's up, Sean?
Mr. Crowley. What's up, Kyle? Back in the pack, Super Bowl edition.
That's right.
Ready for your in-depth analysis.
You ready to get rid of the 2 weeks of the same shit said over and over again? Ready for that to be over?
Yeah, I'm pretty tired of hearing about Richard Sherman's attitude in his mouth, and I'm just ready for some real football at this point.
That's right. But before we start with that, I was thinking two sort of Lions-related trivia about the Super Bowl. So it's number 1 seed versus number 1 seed. So first time since 2009, which if you guys remember, 2009 was the Colts versus Saints. How does that tie the Lions? Well, let's see here. The head coach for the Colts that year was Jim Caldwell, the new Lions coach. The quarterback coach for the Saints is the Lions' new offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi. So there you go. There's one thing, and then the other one is 3 players that are playing on Sunday were part of the Lions 0-16 team. They're part of the 0-16 team. So a lot of Lions-related shit going on in the Super Bowl, but about the actual game. So not only is it 1 seed versus 1 seed, it's number 1 offense in Denver versus number 1 offense or number 1 defense with Seattle. How do you see this going down, Sean?
Well, I can tell that we're probably going to have some different opinions on this game. I mean, I feel like Manning, with the stuff he's done in Denver this year, they averaged 37.9 points a game, scored over 600 points this year. I mean, they definitely have the offense to win in any game, but I'm leaning toward the defensive side of the ball. I think Seattle's going to create a lot of problems, and honestly, I don't see Manning coming out on top in this one.
Going against Peyton. I like it. As much as I do like that, I'm going to have to go the opposite. I've picked against Manning all year, or all postseason, so to get the picks out right away, Sean's got Seattle, I got Denver, but one thing that everyone keeps talking about is the weather. It's going to be bad in New Jersey, so the offensive firepower for the Denver Broncos aren't going to happen. Well, I'm looking at the forecast here, and it looks like Sunday night it's supposed to be a high of 51 with I think I saw about 8 mile-an-hour winds. So it doesn't really seem like that's going to be a factor like everyone keeps saying it's going to be. At least as of right now. Obviously things could change. We've still got about 48 hours till game time. But I think Peyton Manning is he wants to ride out in the sunset. I think if they win this year, I have a feeling that he could retire. He'll have his second Super Bowl win. He's 38. He's already been talking about the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think he's going to be able to take advantage of the defense and all the attention that's going towards Richard Sherman with their weapons that they got on offense. I think the running game's going to be good enough. But again, just like any other game, you got to look at the quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, as much as I don't like him, he still is obviously light years above Russell Wilson. So when they need it most, which is what it always comes down to, I'm going to trust Peyton Manning over Russell Wilson. And really, as long as Denver can control Marshawn Lynch and make Russell Wilson beat him, I think that's the ticket right there. Everyone talks about the offense, but I think as long as Marshawn Lynch gets held in check, they're not going to stop him, but as long as they can keep him around 100 yards and maybe one touchdown, I think Denver has a great chance in that. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I like what you're saying about offenses. Yeah, Denver has the better offense than Seattle, but, the glaring issue for me is Denver's defense. You look at the games that Denver lost, they didn't really lose them because Peyton Manning. They were putting up points all year long. Like I said, they averaged over 37 points a game. Offense didn't cost them those games, and if they can't stop Marshawn Lynch, then the way I see this rolling out is you're going to have long, time-consuming drives, smash-mouth type football where Seattle is pounding the ball. And as long as they're pounding the ball on Denver, the ball is not in Peyton Manning's hands. I think if Denver's defense cannot stop Marshawn Lynch, they're going to minimize their own offense, and that's going to be the key for Seattle.
Yeah, I agree completely. You know, it all hinges on what Lynch can do. And Denver, as bad as they are on defense, they are pretty good rush defense. They're a top 10 rush defense. They got that guy, Terrence Knighton, you know, who they call the pot roast. It's a pretty sweet name. But I think, like I said, if they can control Lynch and make Russell Wilson use, you know, I mean, look who he's throwing to, Doug Baldwin and Tate, Golden Tate, and everyone wants to talk about Percy Harvin, but unless he comes out and has one of those Mario Manningham or David Tyree type games where he hasn't done anything all year, but he comes out and just plays great, you know, I mean, maybe that'll happen, but I just don't see it. The way the NFL is built towards offenses, I think the refs are gonna have a small hand in how physical that Seattle's defense is gonna want to be.
You know, I kind of look back on what you're saying. Makes me think back to the New England Patriots back in '07. You know, they had a perfect season,
Yep.
and they ended up losing in the Super Bowl to the Giants. And the Giants won that Super Bowl with a mediocre offense at best. And, you know, the Giants, they were able to create pressure on Tom Brady with just their front four. And they were able to really drop guys back into coverage, drop their linebackers back into coverage, and take away a lot of those passing lanes. I almost have a feeling that this game could roll out like that.
Yeah.
Seattle could create pressure with just their front four, drop some guys into coverage, and make it hard to pass. You know, Seattle likes to play a lot of man-on-man defense as well, and you know they could challenge Peyton to beat them that way. But I don't know. It seems like over recent history, these great offenses in the NFL that have scored a lot of points haven't really won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true, and you know it's funny how contrasting these teams are. You know, to get to this point, you got one team that, you know, puts up the record amount of points, and you got the other team who, you know, is putting up records on the defensive side. You know, Seattle wants to make the game as quick as possible. They want to be on the field for 5, 6, 7 minutes of drive. But you know, Peyton Manning and the Broncos showed in the AFC Championship game that they can hold on long, sustained drives too, because they had 2 that were over 7 minutes. So I think the problem I see for Seattle is if Denver gets down or Denver gets up quick, I just don't see them having the firepower to come back. So I think it's very imperative that Seattle comes out and gets a quick score, you know, and stays up on them, you know, and not let Peyton Manning go off on them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the key to Seattle is keeping it close or even at halftime.
Yep.
I think if Seattle keeps it close or they can play to a tie at the half, then I think that bodes in Seattle's favor in the second half. If you think back to the NFC Championship game, Marshawn Lynch didn't really do a lot until the second half.
Yeah.
They kept pounding the ball at that San Francisco defense, and he didn't bust that big touchdown run until the third quarter.
That's true.
And, you know, I kind of think that history could repeat itself from the NFC Championship game. Keep it close, pound the ball, make that Denver defense stack the line of scrimmage to stop the run. That'll open up some opportunities for Russell Wilson. I think a close game is definitely in Seattle's favor. Like you said, though, if Peyton gets off to a hot start, it could be a long day for Seattle.
That's right. So, again, I got Denver winning. I think it's going to be something like 35-20, something like that. I think it's going to be a double-digit win. I know, like, the last, I think they said 8 Super Bowls or something like that have been single-digit victories, but I just don't see Seattle being able to hold up on defense that long as long as they're going to need to. So I'm going 35-20 Denver. What do you got for a score, Sean?
I've got 24-21 21, Seattle. I'm looking for a close game. I think Seattle, who led the league in turnover margin, is going to force some critical turnovers, and that's what's going to seal the fate for the Denver Broncos.
All right. So we got different opinions, guys. That's what you got here in Wolfpack. It's not all, we don't agree on everything. But one other thing I wanted to bring up, since it is the Super Bowl, it is the one event that it seems to attract every single person in America. But this is my one way of wanting to throw out my wish. I don't know. You watched, obviously you watched National Championship, right, Sean?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it on the other station? I think it was ESPN. They played, they had the show where they had a bunch of experts in a room, and it was kind of like live feed of what they thought during the game. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, all that. Yep.
See, if they did something like, that's what I've been wanting for the Super, and it doesn't even need to be the whole game, but the halftime. You know, everyone that's probably watching this are all sports fans, so you can feel my pain. I'm not watching the game for the commercials. I'm not watching the game for the halftime. I'm watching the game because it's, you know, the pinnacle. It's the two best teams in the playoffs. So I want to see the halftime. I don't care about Bruno Mars. I don't care about the stupid fucking musical shit that they got going on. I wish that the Super Bowl would have some kind, on a different channel, have like a normal halftime show where they talk about the game, talk about adjustments, what needs to happen for the second half. So, you know, I'm just a small person, and this is never going to get seen by anyone important, but just to throw that out there, that's my one wish for a Super Bowl, is that they actually had some kind of, made it an actual football event and not just some kind of, you know, pop culture event. That's my rant. That's all I got to say about that. You got anything else to say, Sean?
I think Roger Goodell better watch this video, listen to what you said, and get with the program. That's all I know.
I agree. In the State of the League address last night, he should have brought up, you know, what I said in the video against him. You know, he obviously is too scared to rebuke or rebuttal any of the things I said against him. So, you know, it's fine. You know, I'd be scared of me too. I'm a big guy, if you will. But all right, guys, that's it. This is our Super Bowl preview. So check back on Monday when you know, we can make Sean eat some crow. So, all right, everybody, have fun. Go Lions.
Go Skins.
All right, guys.